What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel where we learn, do, and talk about photography until we're sick of it. You're joining in for another installment. In fact, the final installment of my fall foliage photography tour. By the end of this edition, I will have that correct. My photo subject for tonight is on private property, and I'm not out here trying to attract a whole lot of attention. I'm gonna put just put the camera right here on the dashboard, and you'll see me make the photo, and then I'll share the result with you after that. This really makes me miss Scotland, where you know, in the UK they have this thing called a right to roam law, which basically eliminates the concept of private property. But we just love our property here in America so much. But I am heading out to some public property, thank God. Nice, gorgeous state park for the next stop on this fall foliage photo tour. Nailed it! So be sure you stick around for that. I promised you last time that I would take you to a surprise location, and I will unveil the nature of that surprise right after this short message. From flourishing farmland to bustling cities to natural nooks, Indiana is full of charming little scenes, and that's why I'm proud to announce my 2023 Indiana Charms Scenic Photography Calendar. The Indiana Charms Calendar is a beloved gift among homebound and homesick Hoosiers. It brings your love for Indiana imagery inside, and at $14.99, it's the same price as a generic calendar, even though it's made in Indiana and it ships right to your door. But the first 50 pre-orders of the Indiana Charms Calendar are going for $12.99. That's $2 off each calendar at indiana-charms.com. Don't just get organized, get inspired when you order your 2023 Indiana Charms calendar at indiana-charms.com or use the link in the video description. Indiana Charms, all year. Well, I've reached my destination, and this is it. Indiana State Parks. Not for morning people, apparently. Okay, this morning's edition of the Fall Photography Foliage Tour, dang it, still messing it up, comes to you from Spring Mill State Park, where I've finally gained admission. It's just as well I had to wait at the gate so long, because this is not the sunrise that I had ordered this morning. I don't know, neat cloud patterns, not a lot of light. So this whole mill behind me is the subject that I've come to photograph this morning, and I'll share a little bit more with you about it when I set up to take a proper photograph. But right now, right off the bat, I want to get some test shots, because you can see there are some lamps here that are turned on, and I want to be sure to get some shots with the lamps turned on, and then I'll focus on a more, I don't know, contrived composition. So literally after I hit the record button on that last video, the lamp shut off. Like, I turned around and I watched them shut off. So I was so glad I took the time to get those test shots. They might be my favorite shots of the day, who knows. But I did walk around the structure and you know, fine tune a little bit of the composition that I want to shoot. And I'm gonna work on that pretty quickly before I lose the sky. So let me turn the viewfinder on, and I'll show you what I have framed up and what the challenges were working with this subject. First off, we'll look at the sky. And this is why I'm trying to work so quickly. The light's going to get really harsh really soon. You see that I'm losing my cloud cover. At first I complained about the cloud cover, and suddenly it became really nice. So we're just sort of like on the edge of a cloud system, and I want to try to catch these clouds, because as you can see, they're pointing out away from the building. So sort of increasing its drama, sort of spreading out towards the viewer as if they're emanating from the building. So as for the building itself, there's this is an old mill, right? And so I wanted to catch the wheel of the mill, and you see that there's also a little structure here in front of the building. I don't know, some sort of old workhouse or something. And if I shoot from too much over there, where there were some really nice compositions to feature the building and the elements in the foreground, that building was blocking the wheel. And so I wanted to at least get the axle of the wheel in the shot, but the more I thought about it, the more I wanted to get the whole wheel into the photo, and so I've had to work this way. So The first option was shooting dead on, and that just felt a little too obvious. And so I moved over this way where you can see I'm standing in a stream, and normally this stream is a lot higher. If you come here in the summer, when there are huge crowds, there's lots of water in these waterways where these bridges are very necessary. And a lot of these buildings here in the area, you can see this is situated in a restored pioneer village or a preserved pioneer village. And a lot of them are occupied by staff and workers, and you can take tours and stuff. This morning, I am literally the only person here. So, and you can also see, just for funsies, they've got it decorated up for Halloween with all sorts of like scarecrows and pumpkins and things around. So maybe things I'll keep in the photo, maybe things I'll Photoshop out. Okay, so I've come down here by the creek, and when I take this out of 16:9 to the 2:3 photo aspect ratio, you'll see more of the creek because that's something I've tried to incorporate. And then I've also opted for a lower perspective. So the photo will include this creek, this grassy area that I really like, and will point up at the mill. And so this both makes the mill more imposing and gives it more presence in the photograph, but also allows me to compose out a lot of this concrete walkway, which there's a substantial amount of concrete walkway that runs all the way through the Pioneer Village to facilitate the huge crowds that they get during the tourism season. So the photo is going to be something like this. I'm going to capture it handheld, and then I'll put it on the tripod so that I can work with the polarizer a little bit as well. But my priority is to get the best composition, especially working low or when vertical alterations are the main consideration when I'm composing. The tripod is more of a hindrance than a help. So it's great for side to side and lateral movements, but when you need to raise and lower to fine tune the composition, I feel like it's better just to leave the tripod out and maybe put it in at the last minute if I really need it. Okay, so I'll go ahead and get the photo now, and then I'll share it with you after I make it. Well, this old mill is a very popular photo subject, but a worthy one nonetheless, and I'm glad that I made the trip out here today to a location that, unlike a lot of the locations that I visited on this fall foliage photography tour, is one that I've been coming to off and on since childhood, and so it's been a very enjoyable blast from the past, or at least a leisurely stroll down memory lane. And of course, I find it's always worthwhile to get off the beaten path a little bit and just sort of find my own take. Okay guys, this wraps up the Fall Foliage Photography Tour 2022. I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to review the episodes. I'll link them in a card up here. And I hope that wherever you are and whatever you're doing, you're getting out and preparing to enjoy some photography this winter. I invite you to subscribe and see what I'm up to photographing around the heartland of the American Midwest this winter. So until I see you next time, you guys keep an eye out and a foot forward, and thank you for watching.